take long, and then Libby's big head will come into focus because she has to be a part of this. I don't know what it is about on this stuff, but she's got to be a part. So, welcome to Integrated Health of Indiana's 7 o'clock talk. And tonight, we want to talk about some new services that we have. We have an adjunct practitioner because people need a lot of guidance, and you can see Haley's wonderful smile on the screen. And then, last but not least, uh, Fructose, new services. The clinic is growing. We have plans to actually do more. There's quite a bit more. Jessica has this wonderful going on, which seems a lot like we're dealing with some Lyme and going to start delving into that. And so I might get to buy some new toys so we get to treat her and then in turn also treat patients. But to begin tonight's session, I want to turn it over to Haley. And Haley is a certified health coach. And I want her to describe her role in your journey to get healthy.
Well, thanks. Yes, I'm Haley Hennessy, and I've been a health coach since about 2017 or so. And the role of a health coach is really, if you've worked with any coach before, whether you were in a sport in high school or you got me front and center now. Or if you've just had any type of coach along the way, maybe a speech coach or something like that. It's just someone who can walk with you along your health and wellness journey and help you stay on track, help you to stay focused, to help re-guide you or to recenter you if you are working towards a goal and maybe get distracted or maybe get lost in the weeds with information. A health coach, and me as a health coach, helps you stay on track and then really pick apart the little areas that might be more of a concern for you. So everybody's different. There's people who have a big interest and focus on changing their diet, and others are more interested in changing their movement and their exercise regimen. And then even going into more of a mental emotional side of things and clearing that up and maybe feeling lighter and happier. All of those things come into play, and a coach can help you go into each one and figure out which areas within that are best for you to focus on and best to start out with, and then grow from there. So instead of doing everything at once and just getting really overwhelmed and just feeling like you have to do everything from the beginning, we will be breaking down your journey into small bite-sized portions and building upon each one through each stage of the game. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Everything is tailored to you if we work one-on-one. As time goes forward, I'd like to get a group program going for integrated health, because I think that we coming together as a group would also be beneficial, because just hearing where other people are at in their journey and what they're dealing with, and being able to synergize off of one another and grab ideas and share experiences can be really, really beneficial as well. So that is it, I guess, for me. If you have any other questions or thoughts, I'd be happy to elaborate on. Let me know.
Well, one of the things I would add, yeah, we're too small. One of the things, actually, if you would kind of talk about your health journey, because as we spoke to you at the coffee shop, that's part of what actually makes your experience with a functional medicine journey. Let me tell people just a little bit, a healing process. I am a floodgate. It's basically like I get to open up the fire hose, and it's this and it's this and it's this and it's this and it's this. She tells me I'm way over everybody's head, and that's what Jessica's role and Haley's role is. Jessica reins me in, and then Haley can help with higher touch points. And that's what a health coach does. And she's had her own experience. So we'll drop off the screen again and we will let Miss Haley talk about her own journey in health and how she came about to doing this.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I have had an interesting experience with my health, and back in about 2014 or so was really when things started going south for me. I had just graduated from college back then and found myself back at home and did not feel healthy. I felt lethargic, super lethargic, very sleepy. I had digestive issues. When I would go to sleep, I would have sleep troubles. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with all these thoughts racing through my brain and a lot of anxiety in my chest. And then in the morning, when I would wake up, I wouldn't feel rested and I wanted to sleep even more. I would try to feed myself what I thought was the healthiest options that there were. I tried to exercise, but nothing was making me feel any better. And then I went to a doctor to get a blood panel done, and when I got that blood panel back, they told me that everything was fine. I was super healthy, and that's all I needed to know. And that was really, even though I was getting technically good news that I was okay, it was really a letdown because I thought, well, if this is how healthy feels, like I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. And so from there, the thing that really got me out of the gutters and brought me some hope is just remembering how I felt as a child and remembering how I would wake up every morning with energy and with life and vibrancy, and I was excited for the day. I was excited to go to school and to just live my life. And if that feeling was tangible back then, I knew that it was tangible for me in the future. But certainly the westernized, I have a little kitty that you might hear in a minute, but the westernized medicine that I'd been trying to seek help from wasn't the place that had all the answers at that time for me. And so I did some more self searching and searching within the internet and books and all sorts of things. And I finally was able to start making some really big changes when it came to my health journey. I was able to start eating more whole foods and more cleanly, and I was able to from there get a little bit more energy to start exercising, but doing things that were more gentle and more easy on my nervous system. And then that built into finding a solid, nice friend community that was there for me, and I was able to share my journey with them. And that landed me one day finding out about the health coaching certification program that I went through. And I realized, wow, if I could become a coach and help other people on their journey and hopefully be able to share with them what I've learned and cut their healing time in half so they don't have to take as much time as I have, then that would be such an amazing experience and opportunity. I went in on this. And so I went for it and I got my certification, and I've been helping people ever since. And so that's it all started with me just not having any hope and not knowing what to do or what was wrong with me. And I still really have never gotten a diagnosis, but I knew how I felt. And that was kind of the gauge or the barometer that that I still use today. So actually, I was just this past weekend, I was really, really sick. And coming out of that, once I was able to knock the initial sickness out, I started to, I felt better, but I still had this cloudiness and I still had this lethargy and this sense of not being my optimal self. And I knew from that there's more to come, there's more to work towards. And even though I was better, I have been being really easy on myself, making sure to get extra rest and lots of good nutrition in, and moving my body and just starting to to pump my lymph so I can detox all of that extra viral matter out of me. And so yeah, it's been a great gauge to keep in my back pocket, because I think health is a journey. We're never at the end until we're, no longer here. And so we always need to be focused on keeping our health, or our most optimal selves, as the goal, or the goalpost. Because if we just think, oh yeah, I'm better now, I can do whatever I want, then we're not going to have that optimal feeling. We're not going to feel that vibrancy and that healthiness that we all are desiring. So I guess that's my story also in a nutshell. Does that work?
Actually, that's
Fabulous.
yeah, that's perfect, because everybody goes through a learning process. I went through mine, you've gone through yours, Jessica's going through hers, and I believe God gives us challenges. God, nature, the universe, whatever anybody wants to term it, but it gives us the challenges, and prepares us to help others if we so choose. I mean, some people choose to chase money and fame, and other people choose to help. And we're all in a helping service category. So,
Yes.
sorry, I was trying to move around the dog, and the dog is in the way. Um, I'm going to let actually Jessica here for just a couple of moments talk about some of the new services that we started at the clinic.
Somebody's been lonely all day.
Yeah, Libby has not had her attention, and she tries to get it all in 20 minutes.
Well,
Uh-oh.
what do you want me to talk about? Like what we do?
Yeah, talk
outside of chiropractics and functional medicine. So we have a few extras.
Oh, Haley muted herself. I was like, hey, wait a minute. We lost Haley. That's all right, Haley.
Okay. So this week we've had a lot of requests for the foot detoxes. So we added that, and that's been a huge success. Everybody loves that. That's just neat to come in and get 30 minutes worth of pampered time in it. Just a serene environment with the calming music and just to relax. So we added that. You can get that with just a foot bath, or we can add ginger to it, and ginger is really good for you. I'm on the fly. So ginger, it helps with inflammation. It helps with decreasing swelling and brings circulation to your feet. It's a detoxer. So we're doing that now, along with, I think that was Tina's this morning.
Here is Tina's foot bath.
We pampered Tina. Tina is our front desk person, and so I gave her the experience, and she absolutely loved it, and that made me happy to bring a little joy into Tina's world.
And so, as you see the green, it's not truly diagnostic. You have ideas. And the way the ionic foot bath works is it positively charges the water. And then as it positively charges the water, the negative ions in the body get pulled out through the skin. And also what happens is there is some debate as to the water. So you have to use clean water, because the ions will actually pull solid of the solution. So it's very important to use reverse osmosis water. We add salt to it. That helps the conductivity. And then you can kind of tell when you see flecks on top, or like in Tina's thing, you can see where it's green, and that's generally bile and gallbladder. And when people, anybody that eats or has eaten in the past a standard American diet, liver and gallbladder issues ensue. And so we see a lot of the green. And then you see the orange on this side. The orange on this side is more indicative of just pure like liver. It's a very interesting modality.
And I was mobile last night, so I did some IVs for a couple of friends that weren't feeling well, and so I took the foot baths. Theirs was black. One was black and one was gray.
I forget what black is.
Amazing, and our patients really have enjoyed that in the last couple of days. So with that being said, anything that brings you joy and makes you feel better, you're just helping yourself. And then I do, of course, the IV micronutrient IVs. That's good for wellness. It's used for hydration. You can use it to help deficiencies in the minerals and the vitamins in your body. And then it helps so much with your skin. People's skin looks so amazing. They just feel good. They just get more energy. They get better sleep. I like to add the glutathione to that. I have a special little thing that I like to do. I add extra amino acids, and my IV gets extra glutathione put in. That's a detoxer, and that just helps your body just unload the toxins. And then we do acupuncture, which some people really love it and some people aren't really sure about it, but a lot of our patients really enjoy it, and it does help. And just in our own family, my daughter loves it, like the family members love it, and the patients that utilize it absolutely love it. And you can use that with electrostim, which you just put a little voltage to it, and that actually probably helps with circulation, brings healing blood to the area. But acupuncture is pretty cool. We also dry needle.
Acupuncture, yeah, dry needling.
Dry needling, I have just loved dry needling. That just reconnects muscles to nerves and helps with pain, helps with function.
Scar tissue
and
myofascial release.
What else do we do?
Oh, goodness. For those on here that are viewing this later that don't know, I have received my IFM certification. So I'm one of 2,000 doctors in the world that is actually certified in functional medicine. And so now when we do nutrition, so when we do supplements, our supplements are lab driven. So when we see deficiencies, we want to supplement the deficiency, but we don't want to keep you on that. The idea is not to keep you on something. We want you to thrive. And that's why we have Haley, we want to bring Haley on board more and help people, because people can get overwhelmed, and they can get overwhelmed with everything that's happening. And it's more about teaching you to be independent again. And I that's kind of the best way to think about it, isn't it?
You talk about that. So we do labs in-house. We have the ability to do the labs. We do lots of testing. We do testing of the biome. We do micronutrient testing. We do hormone testing. We can do almost any lab. I do those. And then we do a lot of education on those labs. And a lot of it is education, but we don't have the ability or the time to be in contact with the person as much as they really need to be. And that's where Haley would shine.
Yeah, I don't know where she's at on this, but that's Haley.
Yeah,
Haley
that's where Haley and her abilities and her business would shine through here. Like, it's just a really beautiful.
Now, for people that are into functional medicine and like this model, what we have tried to do, and it's like Haley, we're starting to model Dr. Hyman's clinic on the East Coast, because he uses health coaches and his stuff is all lab-based, and we can now do everything. We're kind of the only game in town. We are the only game in town around here, south of Indy, north of Louisville, west of Cincinnati, that does IVs, the dry needling, the chiropractic, the myofascial release. We have associate health coaches now.
Well, and we also have Val, and she does Reiki in the clinic on Thursdays. She's her own practitioner. She sets her own schedule, and we before we let Haley go or the weather, can you tell them how to get a hold of you? Like how?
Uh-oh. Haley, did you hear that? There she
How to
is.
get a hold of me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was afraid the weather was going to knock you out. So can you tell them how they can get in contact with you, or how to reach you, or how you like to be contacted?
Sure. Well, maybe it would be best if they could let you know, so then we could have some accountability on both sides, and then yeah, via email. So my name, Haley Hennessy, is up on the screen right now. So my email address is haleyhennessy@gmail.com.
Can you put that in the chat for them?
Yes.
So we're kind of trying to create our own little community, really, like for wellness, and essentially help each other, help others. And this is where I met Haley, by accident or by purposeful intervention. But I thought she was amazing, and I actually seen her on her Facebook, and I loved her mission. So I just think that she's wonderful, and I haven't worked with her, but I hope to work with her soon. And I just think that she and her business rounds out ours.
And that's the whole idea, it is community. And we want to build a community here that is based on health. Enjoying life doesn't have to be going to the bar. You can still enjoy a drink with friends, but it doesn't have to be every Friday and Saturday night beating your body down. Because after a bunch of years of that, once you hit 30, your body's not going to respond to it well. And we want to start to show people there's a different way. If you ask her what I've been eating over the last week, people would probably die, because I'm the protein, used to be keto, and I've pretty much been almost strictly vegan. I've had a little bit of chicken. I still want a little bit of like animal protein.
He wants a whole lot, but his wife just doesn't buy it anymore.
Well, I bought my chicken, and I still had just couple little strips, but I've been getting my proteins from varied sources. And it's actually, I read Dr. Ornish's book on Undo It. And Dr. Ornish's, let's preface this. The Medicare. So let's just say Medicare. Dr. Ornish's diet is the only diet that has been shown to actually reverse coronary artery disease. You haven't seen any drugs do this. You haven't seen anything else do this, but his is the only one that has done that. Now, there is some question, because he talks about the standard American diet. And when he talks about the standard American diet, he's putting in that we're buying our proteins from Walmart, and we're getting the cheapest proteins we can get, and yada, yada, yada. The studies are being done now on the pastured grass-fed stuff, and some preliminary studies are showing that pastured cows have higher incidence of omega-3s, but the studies aren't done yet. They're not finished. So the science is still out on that. But if you look at the longest lived communities in the world, so if you take Dr. Ornish's Undo It, if you take all of Dr. Hyman's books, from Forever Young to Eat This, Not That, Food Fix, all of those, if you take Dr. Terry Walls's Protocol, and you look at one of the very first ones I ever read, Rob Wolf, the Paleo Diet. If you look at all of these diets, they are all saying get rid of processed foods. Do not, if it comes with a nutrition label or if it has a health claim, if it has a health claim over here, it has a cost over here. And so highly processed foods from the American food system, they're just crap. There's no two ways about it. They do not build health. And so what they all say is the same is where you get your carbs and your complex carbs from is the same. The difference is between, hey, Val, we mentioned you just a little bit ago about contacting you for a Reiki. So if you want to put in the comment section how they can get a hold of you for a Reiki session, please do so. But they talk about getting your protein, where you get your protein from. Dr. Ornish wants you to get it from beans and plants, and Hyman and the others say that if you can do regenerative is the best, then you can go organic, and then or pastured and then organic. Those are the best ways to start to get that stuff in. And like I said, the science is still out on it. But if you look at the blue zones, your Okinawans, your Sardinians, the only people that are truly, purely vegan are the Loma Linda Californians. Everybody else has about 10 to 20% animal protein, but the animals graze. They're not in pens and they're not fed hormones, and they don't stand in their own muck all day. So that's just been my experience. Anybody? I'm sorry, I got diarrhea of the mouth again. Oh, the whole idea.
Reining him in.
The last little bit was, let's talk about fructose. Haley, what are your views on fructose? Like, not fruit sugar, fructose in the soda, Gatorade form, the liquid processed form.
Well, okay, I'm just making sure I'm not muted. I think it's definitely dangerous to break something down so small and then reintroduce it into different types of foods that you can buy shelf stable. So obviously fructose, fruit, originally comes from some type of fruit. So why aren't we eating it in the regular form? Why does it have to be extracted and put into something else that, is more convenient? But if you think about it, let's say we've got a toddler. You give them a peach, you give them some grapes, you give them an apple. They're not going to think that tastes bad, because that's an ideal food for a human being. We're meant to enjoy the flavors of those natural plants, fruits, things like that. But when it's been broken down to fructose and become an ingredient, that sweet flavor, and then that ingredient is then used as a way to manipulate our taste buds and our senses, and to kind of monopolize the fact that we enjoy the flavor of fruit, is, in my opinion, pretty sinister, because there's so many people out there that they don't have the time to pay attention to the labels, and so they just grab stuff. And if you think about it too, I'm going on my own tangent, but think about colors. Where can you hear me still?
Oh, yes.
Okay. If you think about bright colors, we walk into, let's say, a gas station, and we go to the refrigerated section. You see orange, you see bright yellow, you see purple, green, all the colors. Think about Gatorade, like what you were saying. Every single color is represented. But if you reel it back and think about the natural side, our eyes are meant to be drawn towards color because it shows us when a fruit is ripe. So if a tomato is bright green, we know not to pick it. But when it's bright red, ooh, let's pick it and let's eat it. And the same goes with all the other fruits that are out there. And so not only is the fructose monopolizing our taste, but all those different bright colors are monopolizing our visual natural sense that we have for natural foods. And so really, if you want to kind of stick it to the man, I would say you want to steer away from fructose.
Well, and so what I will add to that is that the way they get fructose is they process out the fiber. To get it shelf stable, you have to lose the fiber. And when you lose the fiber, you lose the ability to slow the impact of the sugar. And so, as I've discussed before, if you have glucose, the analogy is that of a house faucet outside a hose. If you have a hose and you got two valves on it, one is the spray nozzle and the other is the valve at the end of the house. Fructose takes the spray nozzle and takes that off. It takes the check valve that actually shuts off insulin production and removes it. So the valve is wide open. All you have to stimulate insulin with is just a little bit of sugar, a little bit of glucose, and that turns on the insulin response. And now you have a hyperinsulinemic event. And so if you think about people who are diabetic, or people that, when somebody tells me they're hypoglycemic, I immediately think they're insulin resistant. Because what happens is that insulin stays so high that it never gets to come down. And that's what drives their simple sugars down. And so I'm actually over here doing hand things, and you can't see those on the screen. But fructose is one of the most dangerous things. And if you watch Dr. Robert Lustig, I'll put it in the notes over here. I did say check out Bliss Point. If you guys that are watching this have never seen the documentary on Bliss Point, just go to YouTube and type in Bliss Point. About Sinister. It plays Haley's point. They're hitting the dopamine centers of the brain. They're hitting your addictive centers with this, and it's by design. It's by design to get you to eat more. And so what happens is Bliss Point is something that is made by the food manufacturing industry. Back to fructose. Fructose goes through the liver exactly like alcohol. And that's why there is a new classification of liver disease called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. And NAFLD is overtaking alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it's the number one about that. Why? What are we always giving our kids? Because they love it and it's healthy. Fruit juice, juicy juice, 100% juice. And that's exactly right. It's 100% fruit juice. So it goes right through the liver as basically alcohol. It just doesn't affect the brain the way that alcohol does. So I like the science you about the real life applications. That's not my gig. But with that being said, we've actually had Val on before. Actually, we had Val on about a year ago. She put her contact information in. And Haley, I did not see yours actually post, young lady. Nope.
I'm not familiar with this platform. I put it in, it says private chat on the right side of the screen. Is that where it needs to go?
Oh, I would imagine you probably private chatted it to me. Here we go. I'll get that posted as well.
Okay.
But this is where we want to build the community. And we want to build the community with people that are like you and Val, who are younger and a little more energetic than we are, because we have lived through. There we go.
And I wanted to plug a little bit for Val too, because Val also does yoga, and she has a little guy that we just love, and she started like a mommy and me yoga, which I don't have little ones, of course, anymore, but anyway, I thought it would look absolutely awesome. And you can get a hold of Val to do. She teaches yoga also.
I'll post that. There's Haley's information. Yeah, actually, we had patients that went to the mommy and me yoga and they loved it. So we have Haley's stuff there. That's also in the comments. We have, where'd Val's information go? Here it is. And I'll put Val's information on the top. And I have done Reiki. I'm sorry, I butcher it. That's the redneck in me. And here's one of the things that I like about that practice. And that is you actually just get to calm down for however long. You know, we all say to go and meditate for 15 minutes. We all say to go meditate for 30 minutes. I tell people to pray the rosary if they don't like meditation. I tell people to go for a walk. But your brain's always working, and there's something about being on the table and having somebody else working on you, light touch, and you don't think about other things, and you just get to shut the brain down. And that is taking you from a sympathetic position in life to a parasympathetic position. And parasympathetic is where you heal and you repair. So I think for anybody that's interested, we have a class April 4th at the Columbus Library. I believe Miss Haley might be coming in late because she has a prior engagement, but she will be rolling in there a little bit late. The library made us move it up to 6 o'clock, and we'll probably still use the whole hour to 2 hours. I would love to be able to tell this lovely, beautiful, patient woman that it will only last an hour. It never does.
That we're looking forward to working with Haley, and of course we love working with Val. But if you're local, I have to plug in my little residence for the. We have a little. We have a nursing home that we like to visit, and Tuesday we are going to take a movie to them all, and fresh fruits and vegetables and air pop popcorn, and they love it. So that's our first time doing this, but we usually take them treats, and of course we give them love 3 times a week. But if you're not local, find somebody in your area and just plug yourself into a group of people, whether it's, you know, residents of a nursing home or assisted living or something like that, or, you know, dogs and cats. But I promise you, you will get way more than you give, and to them, you're giving everything. They love it. So,
yep. And that altruism really does more for you than it even does for them. And they are very, very thankful. So, and there is no charge for that. So you can come down, plop a squat, talk to somebody who probably hasn't been talked to in a long time. Yeah. And that they are in this society. YouTube, you can do whatever, and you know that's just not fair. So, all right, Haley, thank you for being with us and your time. We really appreciate it, and we so look forward to working with you. Val, thank you for popping in, and I appreciate it, and I will get this posted to YouTube as well. And we will see you all on the flip side. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.
You.
Thanks, Haley. Thanks, Val.